I did have one question that I was kind of curious of myself, and I think actually a lot of people would benefit from. Uh, and when I ask this question, you can decline. I'm
Go
just
ahead.
gonna say it right now. If you don't feel comfortable, that's okay. I understand. Not gonna take any offense. It's like, what advice do you have for people who are like just going through these thoughts like, oh my gosh, I might possibly lose my parent, or I might possibly lose a family member. Like, how do I cope with this? Because you have actually lost a family member, and it's like, do you have any advice, like any things you regret, or any things that you, yeah, wish you had done? Because it's a tense time. Like, we have to think about these things. Like, and personally for me, I have kind of a, I don't know. It can be kind of a sometimes a tough relationship with my dad. Like, there's things I don't agree with him, but at the end of the day, I love him. And honestly, I get terrified every single day. Like that, there's a possibility I might lose him, and I always try to just remain grateful that I see him breathing every single day, and that's a blessing. And I'm gonna try my best to cherish every moment because again, I cannot say that he's gonna be good for sure. Like I feel like that's ignorant. I don't know that. I can't predict the future.
I agree. No, it's a good question, and I don't mind answering that. For me, I guess what I can say from my experience, in a way, with the situation that I was in, because my dad he became extremely sick. This was back in 2017, and during that time, like yeah, it sucked. Like I told you my experience being in LA, like how there's a lot of things I was blocking out, but at the same time, like trying to come to terms with it, that this is it. Like this is probably what he's going to be like for now. Like he's not going to be the same person again. Because when my just to give a brief description to those who don't know, my dad was diabetic, and the way what happened was he did dialysis. During his dialysis, he had a stroke, which caused him to become paralyzed, and basically like he wasn't able to speak either. So he was bedridden for almost, yeah, like almost 2.5 years. And during the time that he was bedridden, I would always go because he was in a at a nursing home. We would always go see him, and being I think during that time it kind of helped us all come to terms with the fact that he is going to pass away soon. We don't know when, but his time can happen, and we just kind of have to come to terms with that. But it's obviously coming to terms with something that hasn't happened yet is definitely a lot different from when it does happen. When it did happen, um, it was I I would say it was definitely like it's hard. Like it's hard to lose a parent, like obviously. But with me, I kind of like how do I describe this?
Yeah, if you need a moment to like collect your, dude, I get it. Like you can take your time.
So with me, I was able to release all the emotions and feelings that I was feeling. Like the day he passed away, at first when I heard the news, I was just like like I was kind of shocked. Like you're in that shock mentality, so you're just kind of like, oh, it happened. But then with me, I always try to see the good side of things. Like that's always me. Like, okay, hey, on the bright side, like he was suffering for that long. Like he was suffering for so long, and if anything, like I think that was more like hell for him. So him, like finally at rest is like it did. I'm obviously I'm not like happy that he died, but it in a way it was just like uh knowing that he's at peace makes me feel at peace. So that's kind of where I was coming from. And then while I was driving to the hospital to go, see him, I was getting very anxious before entering the room. I was like, oh man, this is happening. It's actually here. This is actually happening right now. And then I went into the room, and honestly, like as I went into the room, it was in a way, it was very warm. I had a very warm feeling. Like I went in and I saw him, and he looked like he was having the best sleep of his life. Like as in like this was like, I mean that's comparing it to how he was when he was, you know, still sick and couldn't talk or do anything. Like it was a lot. I think it was more painful to see him in that state versus when I saw him at the hospital for that the day he passed away. And when he did pass away, like I don't know, like I don't know. We No one knows what happens when we die. I mean, yes, like there can be like, you know, in different religions have different views, but with me, I just knew that, to me, like the way I like to see it is that he didn't really leave us, he just leveled up, if that makes sense. Like he
Oh yeah, yeah. No, no, no. Can you expand on that? What do you mean by that? Leveling
like
up.
like um so obviously, like the body that we're in right now, I call it the vessel. We're not our bodies. I think we're more than our bodies. um, we have our soul. I mean, I think a lot of religions can relate to this. We have our soul, and then beyond that, there's the spirit. Some say they're interchangeable, and it can be. But with me, like, I think the biggest thing that transcends the most is love itself. So when he was gone, like, I knew he's always going to be a part of us. It'll always be there.
Wow.
Like the love I have for him, the love he has for me, like that's never gonna change. Regardless if, you know, we don't know if he's like just a speck of dust or whatever, or in like the way I like to see it, like I'm gonna go into a little bit more of like this is my spiritual lens coming in,
Go
but
for it.
I believe that once we pass, we're all energies. That's how I see it. We're all vibrational energy, or, you know, different energies that like we like right now, like you and I, we're energetic beings in a vessel. That's how I see it. So when he passed away, like, and I guess I'll share this. I've already shared this with you before, but right when I walked into that room, I saw this vibrational energy, and it was very warm. Like it was a very warm feeling. Like as soon as I walked in, I saw and felt this vibrational energy for like a split second, and then like just poof, disappeared. So in a way, that was,
Definitely felt something different
I
because
definitely felt something different.
like to me, like when you say vibrational energy, I honestly don't know what you're talking about, and it's like one of those things like you don't know unless you experience it yourself.
Exactly, yeah. It's like a feeling, but like I don't know, but like I did see like it's like, how
So,
do I
so,
explain?
so this thing, you're saying you not only felt it physically, but you visually saw
I
something.
visually saw something. It was just like,
Okay.
I don't know. It's like it's hard to explain, but it's like frequencies, like
Okay.
really like, but it was like very warm. Like as soon as I entered, it felt like I was I was loved. Like it felt like he didn't leave. Like he left the body, but for like that split second, I felt like he was waiting for us to enter that room before he actually left. If that made sense.
Wow.
So it was interesting. Like that split second, I felt this warm love type like feel, and I'm honestly okay with that. Like I think if, and maybe that's just me coping, my way of coping. I don't know, who knows. But whatever I felt or saw, like I thought, I knew that he's in a better place. Um, and every now and then, like I still talk to him, like at night, for example, like my family comes from a Muslim background. I don't particularly practice or follow Islam, but I'll still say certain, like we call it surahs, but they're like prayers. But I still use them as mantras, if anything. So like there's a specific one, like I have it on my phone. Like if you can see it, it's hard to see,
Oh
but
yeah.
the translation is basically, my Lord, have mercy upon my parents as they brought me up when I was small. So it's like I use that mantra all the time whenever I go to sleep, just to think, and then just think about him, and I know that his love is there. And I don't know, like in Lion King, Mufasa's always watching over Simba. That's just kind of the mentality that I have, if that makes sense.
Yeah, wow, that's really interesting. I mean, that's you're not like okay, you've acknowledged the fact that he's passed, and you're not avoiding uh still like acknowledging that he's still part of your life. Like you could have just avoided it and be like, he's gone, he's erased out of my memory. He does not exist. But the fact that you do this prayer every night, like you are intentionally thinking about him, and you're still like you're still making him part of your life, which I think is like really wonderful. Like I mean, again, I don't know how I would react if I would just be in denial, or just like be like, no, it didn't happen, or it's whatever. But I think that's kind of powerful that you still keep him part of your life. Like
And then,
he's not really
oh
gone.
yeah, no, like, and then don't get me wrong, but like, there are days, moments where, like, okay, like maybe not now as much. Now I'm like pretty like, like I came to terms with a lot of things, but at least the first month when he passed away, I did struggle a little bit. Like, I think they call it like the 7 stages of grief or whatever,
Yeah,
where
I feel like
I
that
had my
anyone would struggle, like such a difficult event.
yeah, like I had moments where like I had bursts of anger, and you don't know where this anger is coming from, but it's just there. And I've had that. Like I struggled with like moments of like just anger out of nowhere, and it's for like the most smallest, stupidest thing possible. Like like an overreaction for no reason, kind of anger. And then like, but the thing about that is like, it's always good to talk about it. You don't want to just hold it in. Like whatever anger I had, like I'll tell my fiance, I'll talk to my mom about it. We'll discuss these things. I think that discussion is important when it comes to like grieving, because I'm not the only one that's grieving. Like my mom's probably grieving in her own way. My family members, like my aunts and uncles, like they're all grieving in their own way. But at the end of the day, we're all grieving. But I think that's the other thing. It's like my dad left with a lot of people that with like he left knowing that there's a lot of folks that loved him, including families and friends. So in a way, it's like we're always kind of there for each other too. So whenever I go see my like family members in California, like it feels like he never really left. He's still a part of us. He's still there. Like that genetic coding is still there within us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Um, yeah, I mean, I just really want to say thank you for sharing all of that, because I mean, I'm sure hopefully someone's gonna find this beneficial, but even for me personally right now, it's beneficial for me. And I just want to say to the viewers listening, this is the first time that I've talked to my friend Priam about his dad passing. Like, I've texted him like, really sorry to hear your loss. Like, if you need any help, like, let me know.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank
we
you.
never really talked about it though. And for me personally, it's something I think about every day, man. Like I'm terrified that possibly I might lose my dad. Like I have to. Unfortunately, that's what goes on my mind. And because he is at an at-risk population, like 63 years old, um, and it's terrifying. And so that's why I always think about just trying to be grateful for every moment. And if that time does come, to try to be mentally strong, to do all these things I'm doing. Like I meditate, I walk outside. I try to just do things for my mental and physical health, because if that moment comes, I want to be there to serve my father, to be there to serve anyone that's sick, and to be helpful. Because if I'm in this like panic mode, I'll be paralyzed. I don't know what to do. But you sharing your experiences, that just really does help me, because now I can, maybe have an idea of what do I do, what do I think about, how do I go forward. Because again, this is stuff I don't hear anywhere. No one talks about this stuff, and I feel like
Yeah.
it's healthy to understand about it, because it happens. Like you're going to experience someone dying in your life at some point, and it's so heartbreaking, but it's gonna happen. And again, yeah, I just want to say thank you for sharing that.